have reached the 6 o'clock hour, which is 7 in Iowa. So my name is James Clark, and I'm the temporary chair for this precinct. I set this up and decided that I might as well lead it too. I passed all the tests that they had for me. So anyway, I'd like to welcome all of you, and to this is the first ever satellite caucus. So welcome, pioneers. So there are a total of 87 satellite caucuses, 27 outside of the state of Iowa, including Paris, Glasgow, Scotland, and Tbilisi, Republic of Georgia. So, there are some changes for those of you who are veteran caucus goers. There are changes from previous caucuses, and I want to let you know what they are. Later on, I'm going to pass out presidential preference cards to everyone, and you will fill out your name when I tell you to, and not before, and then indicate your first preference for the candidate and sign your name. Okay? So it creates an audit trail for the caucuses. So we'll submit those in. If there's any discrepancies, that'll be the final word. I guess there's been some issue in previous ones about people's not counting correctly. So this time also, instead of just reporting one count out of the caucuses, there's going to be 3 counts. The count of the first alignment, which is going to let those people who don't have that many supporters actually get recognition for being here and having some supporters. Okay, so it'll get a better indication overall about how many people are supporting who. Okay, the third thing is that there is no movement after the first alignment if your caucus is viable.
Your candidate is viable. Your candidate. Yeah.
That's viable.
Okay. So the preliminary count is that it's going to be 11 people to make yourself viable, but we'll do an official count as I hand out the presidential preference cards. Okay, so the out-of-state caucuses are kind of like a 100th county for Iowa. So they're gonna each precinct is gonna be like part of a county, and they'll put them all together at the end, figure out the delegate count, and they'll go on to the convention. There will be additional 2 delegates allowed at the state convention for out-of-state caucus goers. So this process is going to be a little bit limited. We're not going to be we're not going to be voting on a lot of positions, committee members, etc., in for the various county positions, and we'll only be allowed to sign up for as alternate delegates, not as actual delegates to the county convention. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is have a short presentation on behalf of the Democratic Party.
We have a hand.
Question.
Yes.
You said there were 87?
87 caucuses, out-of-state caucuses. I'm sorry, satellite caucuses.
Sorry.
And you have to have 15% to be viable.
No, it's how many people are here. 15% of the number of people that are here.
How many are here?
15% of 87.
No, there is,
72 people.
President, we believe there are 72 people here.
72.
Yes,
That are registered voters in the state of Iowa.
Right.
yes.
And
Okay.
Yes.
Registered here.
That have registered, pre-registered for the caucus and have signed in by signing their name.
I misunderstood, thank you.
Okay. Okay. So in addition to the allocating these delegate equivalents for the county convention, that's which is, by the way, March 21st. Any of you going to be in Iowa on March 21st? You.
Hey, we have an alternate.
So we're also going to discuss and adopt any platform resolution that anybody would wish to propose. And I have some forms over there by the door that you can fill out if you have a resolution to propose, or you can just submit your own in a long piece of paper. Okay, so the Iowa Democratic Party, here it is. Troy Price is the chairman of the Iowa Democratic Party, and he has written us a letter. So I will read it to you. Dear Iowa Democrat, welcome and thank you for attending your 2020 Precinct Caucus. Tonight you are joining fellow Iowa Democrats gathered all across the state to do what we do best, organize and mobilize. But as you gather tonight, I hope you also take time to celebrate with each other the growing strength of our party and continue to work together to make our party even better. There is no doubt we have our work cut out for us this year. That is why the work you are doing tonight is so important. This is the first step in building a strong grassroots organization that takes our state and country into a different, new direction. But to do that, we must be united. You may have entered tonight as a supporter of one of our outstanding presidential candidates, and I hope you are successful. But regardless of the outcome, when you leave tonight, we must all be united as Democrats and ready to fight for our values. Because together, we can take back the Iowa legislature and win important seats at the courthouse. Together, we can sweep all 4 congressional districts. Together, we can put a Democrat back in the U.S. Senate.
Yes.
Together, we can turn Iowa blue and take back the White House. The Iowa Democratic Party stands shoulder to shoulder with you in this fight. And together, I know we will be able to celebrate in November the brighter, progressive future that stands ahead of us. I thank you so much for being a part of this historic night and for being a member of the Iowa Democratic Party. Troy Price. Okay. Yay, Troy. So, but first, the caucus will elect its permanent caucus chair and secretary. As the temporary chair, I've been trained and certified to run this precinct caucus. I am automatically nominated, and it is my hope to be elected as the permanent chair. Do we have any other nominees for permanent chair? You were just taking a picture, okay. Yes, sir.
So move that you be the permanent chair.
All right. Thank you. I will consider myself
How about a vote?
temporary.
No,
Okay,
he's-
I'm sorry.
he's on
Oh, yes,
the
sorry.
motion.
A show of hands, or no? Ayes or nays? Okay, ayes?
Aye.
Nay? Nay? All right, now, let's go to the permanent caucus secretary. My good friend Stephen Lytle has been helping me from the beginning, and he has also done some of the training, and I nominate him to be the permanent caucus secretary.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. All right. Got that. Okay, as you know, and as Troy reminded us in his letter, 2020 will be a big year for Democrats. We have a lot of work to do and some very well-funded opponents. You see what's coming next?
That's the best. It is an Iowa
We have
Caucus.
issues, we have difficulties. The 2020 coordinated campaign will touch every community and will work to get out every Democratic vote. We need your support now to help build for success this year. I'm going to pass around, or Steve is going to pass around, the Iowa Democratic Party finance envelope.
It's not very big, but I hope you put something in there to send for the Iowa Democratic Party. I'm gonna start it over here, and if you just pass amongst yourselves and get it back to me at some point.
I'm just going to read what they said here, all right? It's going to be the 46th president that we're going to elect. That it would be appropriate to each toss in $46. But if you don't have that, please put in 5 or 10 or whatever you can afford. Every bit helps. If you're writing a check, you can make it out to the Iowa Democratic Party, and you can also donate online by texting Iowa to 243-7325.
If you're interested.
Okay? 15%, again, 15% of those in attendance that are able to vote. To determine the total number participating tonight, we will now count the room. As we are counting, we will be passing out presidential preference cards. And once again, I don't want you to write on them yet. Pass them out. Yep.
Take anything over 72, take out of the numbers.
No, for sure.
We need to be checked, so that's the number of signed.
Okay, the sheet is balanced. All right. So it is now confirmed that we have 72 attendees. So it will be 11 in order to be a viable unit. All right. Okay, you now have up to 15 minutes in order to align or realign if you wish. Does anybody here wish to realign at this moment?
How many of you guys
Anybody? You don't, this is not a vote. This is not a vote. I'm just asking if anybody.
I've seen him a couple times in Cedar Rapids, and he presents himself well, thinks on his feet, would do our country proud. The biggest thing for me personally, I'm a provider of healthcare, so healthcare is a big thing for me. And nothing against the more progressive candidates, but I see something in rural Iowa healthcare delivery. We have to kind of work at this gradual. We can't just do a revolution. We'll just decimate our healthcare system in Iowa. So for me, Mayor Pete he's a moderate. He's smart. It also appeals to the younger population, which I think is the next future. So for me, Mayor Pete, I really feel strongly about it.
I'm a retired emergency medicine physician, so I can speak to healthcare and rural healthcare particularly. And I'm sick of seeing patients not come in, not get care, and show up in the emergency room on death's door because they didn't want to bankrupt their families. And Elizabeth Warren understands it, and her plan specifically addresses the issue of making sure that rural hospitals stay viable. We have to support them in Iowa and all across the country. So Her plans are big and bold, but if we don't start there, where will we end up? She has the personality, she has the drive, she has the energy and the smarts to unite this country. And I've been working here in Arizona for months, and I've seen her numbers just keep on steadily climbing as people get to know what she's all about. So I hope that you will support her, because I think she's the best woman for the job, and she'll get it done. Thank you.
For Joe Biden, first of all, he's not the oldest person in the race. Secondly, I believe what the young gentleman spoke about, Pete, that Joe stands for a lot of the same things. But he can attract independents and Republicans who are upset with Trump. Thirdly, I pay a lot of attention to the polling that's being done state by state that is reported on MSNBC. He will win back, if Joe is the candidate, he will win back Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin. And I just recently heard in the last week that he is leading by 5 points in Florida over Trump. So I think Joe would make a great candidate, and I think Amy would be a terrific vice president.
I'm caucusing for Bernie because I know that when he is in the White House, he will fight for us, because he always has. That's what he's done his entire life. Probably the most consistent candidate that we've ever had on the national stage like this. 4 years ago, Iowa made America believe that real change is possible. I mean, real, meaningful, systemic change, which is what we need in this country. Real change like making health care affordable for everyone and lowering prescription drug prices with Medicare for all. Real change like making big corporations and wealthy people like Donald Trump pay their fair share so we can raise wages, expand Social Security, guarantee equal pay for equal work, and confront climate change, the most pressing issue that we have. But it's not just the issues. Bernie Sanders is the best candidate to defeat Donald Trump, because Bernie has raised more money than any other candidate without any billionaire donors. Bernie beats Trump in nearly every poll, especially swing states. He's the strongest in those polls. Bernie's campaign motto is, "Not me, us." That means that Bernie Sanders believes that the future of America should be decided right here in this room by us, not by the wealthy, not by the powerful, not by corporations. So tonight we ask you to join this movement with us to win the Iowa Caucus, defeat Donald Trump, and transform our country. And I think
is very dedicated to climate change and doing something about it. He is a billionaire. He quit his job in 2012, and he did that to specifically work with young people on climate change. And he organized large groups of young adults and got them behind the work that they're doing together. That's one thing that's unique about him. The other is, as being a businessman, he can go toe-to-toe with Trump, and he can talk to him about the economy, and he has a very clear message to Trump. The top people are doing well, but we can demonstrate what's happening to the middle and lower classes. So some of the other unusual things I think about him is that he wants to give democracy back to the people. First of all, he'll repeal Citizens United because corporations are not people. And he wants to restructure the election committee, the federal election committee, which everybody knows is struggling to ensure us that we have votes that are not being tampered with. He wants to limit congressional terms, put term limits on it. He thinks the longer they stay in, the more they get into the pockets of corporations. And he has this wonderful idea of a national referendum where every year people would have two opportunities to vote on an issue that has been chosen, an issue of the choice, a popular issue, and they can vote about how they want it to be handled. And that vote will be heard in Washington. So that's a way of bringing people in to the democracy, I feel like they're being heard. On climate science, he wants to triple the funding for climate science. And he also has a plan for raising $250 billion through government bonds and getting that out to independent communities across the country so that they will have funding for their own climate project in their own neighborhood. So that's why I'm interested in Tom. He has some great new ideas. And I think we can win over some of those farmers who went to Trump because they didn't want another politician. This is the guy that I think is someone who they could look up to and respect.
Yang is an entrepreneur. He spent the last 10 years working with his non-for-profit, which basically the goal was to create jobs in some of the communities and states who were ravaged by automation. I don't know how much you guys know about this, but automation robots is really what took the manufacturing jobs away that Trump was talking about. Yang recognizes this, that we automated away 4 million jobs in all the swing states that Trump needed to win, and did win. He's got a lot of really, really genius solutions to handle this, including his UBI, which I understand to a lot of people at first sounds a little crazy, but it is one of the most economically sound policies on the table right now, and you can check with economists to verify that. And if you understand anything about modern money theory, you'd understand that it's not a crazy policy. But besides that, he's got 150 plus other common sense policies. My generation right now is we're looking at incredibly high inflating education costs when education is like the only path forward. Low skilled jobs are dwindling. 44% of people that graduate with a college degree today don't even find a job that actually fits their education level. They graduate college and end up working minimum wage anyways because unemployment says the employment stats are fine, but the reality is our labor participation rate is at an all-time low. Underemployment is at an all-time high. We've got mental health issues, suicide issues. Our life expectancy is declining right now due to suicide. We have record high capital gains, and our life expectancy is declining. We're all concerned about this coronavirus, but the reality is the economy we live in is killing more people than anything right now. And Yang's really focused on that. He's focused on the real issues. This is a man with a degree in political science, a degree in economy, and a degree in law. He understands this system better than anyone out there. He's been working in non-for-profit, creating jobs in these communities. He knows the American people better than anyone. I know this isn't going to be enough to swing your guys' votes today, but I highly suggest you check Yang out. He is incredibly intelligent. He is the best man to beat Trump. I personally have convinced my grandmother and my dad, who are both hardcore Trump supporters, to vote for Yang. He is the unity candidate. He is bringing the parties together. You can see that every day in the Yang gang. We are the most passionate. We are the most caring. We want to, show these values that Yang is this movement of empathy and unity. It is really what I believe America needs right now, from my perspective. So please take a look at Yang.
On behalf of Michael Bloomberg. Number one, Michael Bloomberg is richer than all the other candidates combined. I'm supporting Michael Bloomberg tonight mostly just so I have an opportunity to say something else. And that something else is that as we think about electing a president, and pray God, let's all go out and work hard for whoever the nominee is. But let's, as we do this, not forget that if we don't also take back the Senate, we could end up with 8 years of a Democratic president and no judges. So let us put Mitch McConnell as much in the crosshairs as Donald Trump.
This group needs to elect a preference group chair for a precinct captain.
Well, nobody wants to move now.
So,
What does that mean, too?
Maybe once the move, I can do that. Before you count.
Before we vote.
Before you count.
okay, if you want to, if anybody wants to move now, they can move.
Hey, Pete, we need a couple more here.
Okay.
We need a couple more.
Okay.
10 more over here.
So,
I'll take all
so we-
You can have my chair.
Yeah, I'll stand up.
Oh, we've got some
Okay, we got one more. Mayor, please.
I think he's wrong.
One more.
We do our relocation.
what?
Don't you
fill out this card first with the first
We're not to that.
We're not to that yet. Lobby those guys. Visitors, the volunteers, the observers cannot, are not supposed to be talking yet, okay?
Well, that was.
I need to find out what, I don't understand how this works now. So we end up with 21, more than anybody, but we get the same number as,
Klobuchar is now 21, Warren is now 12, and Bloomberg and Steyer are 0.
Here, he's got it right
Moving to new business. Is there any other business before the caucus? Hearing none. Pardon?
Our delegates going to be selected?
We will have to compute those.
We can do it in just a heartbeat.
It would be one for everybody.
Is there any other business? No. Okay. So there are seven delegate equivalents awarded out of this caucus. We have 5 viable candidates. So the 2 highest counting candidates will receive 2 delegates. Okay, hearing no further business, the caucus is adjourned. Thank you. Thank you for coming.